Dave, disability and Jesus. You've been at General Synod the whole 4 days, and I skived off for 2 of them. How has it been being in the university as a site and being present as disability and Jesus?
There's been good and bad. The really good point has been making connections with people that we've only known through social media, with people that we didn't know anything about, or they didn't know anything about us. The site is very difficult. The buildings themselves, once you get in them, are reasonably accessible. The signage on the site is awful. There are some training issues for both Synod and university staff, and some of the attitudes that I've encountered have been appalling.
Really? Can you give us an example without identifying who they are?
Yeah, I've been asked would I mind moving with my dog because someone wanted to sit near where I was sitting and they don't like dogs. I've had to ask groups of people who are standing in walkways, would they move please? When they're perfectly aware of me, but I can't see them.
No, you're invisible, Dave. No one can see a blind guy with a dog. No.
Especially a blind guy my size. I'm only this big so that visually impaired people can see me.
That's very kind.
Yeah.
And people you've met on the stall, how's that been?
That's been the best part of it. People are really interested. They've taken away lots of information. They've left details. We've taken their details. We've got invites to go to parishes and talk about their access. Personally, I am an access auditor. People didn't even know what an access auditor was.
It's a good start.
You know, and we're getting asked, would you come? Would you talk to us? The main thing I've been saying to people, look, we're not the accessibility police. There's no need to be frightened of us. We're not going to take you to court or, you know. What we would like to see is every church produce its own access policy that starts with the immediate things that are easy to do and cheap to do and works its way up over time to the really big issues, the expensive things. Part of the issue for me is that I have a foot in the other camp in the disabled secular world where the church is not popular. And I'm having to defend the church to other disabled people. And quite honestly, there's not a lot to defend.
Yeah, we're playing catch-up.
We're seriously behind. And there is this kind of thought amongst the disabled community that the church doesn't have to comply with quality law, which in some ways it doesn't.
You're partly exempt and partly not.
Yeah, and it's people are confused about which bits we're included in and which bits we're not. So there's a lot of confusion around that. What I get from churchy people a lot is, you know, it's going to take time and it's going to be expensive. Well, DDA came in '95.
That's a long time ago.
That's an awful long time.
Yeah.
And disabled people are saying, well, how long do you need?
Yeah, we got to die off first.
You know,
happened.
And I mean, personally, I'm 55, and I've been blind for years, and I'm getting a bit fed up. You know, and I want to say to people, look, you've had an awful long time to sort it out. But when we're talking to churches, what we want to say is, look, produce that document that clearly demonstrates your commitment, and maybe it's a 10-year plan that you produce, but then we can defend you to disabled people and say, well look, they've got a plan in place, bear with them, the goodwill is there, and there's a long-term commitment. But when there's nothing, I've got nothing to defend the church with. I'm very sad about that. In another way, in terms of visual impairment very particularly, I want to be able to say to people, if you want to know what a good website looks like, go and look at a church website. I daren't do that at the moment. If you want to look at what good literature looks like, go and look at church literature. I can't do that. They're cheap and easy things to do, and we should be doing them now.
And on a final note, how has Jarvis been enjoying his new stuff?
Jarvis has been a star.
He's a beautiful dog. He's got his own Twitter feed.
The nice people at Mothers Union next door to us over there recommended that we give Jarvis his own Twitter page, so we did, and he's got 102 followers, I think, as of this
morning. And just met Justin Welby, but not sent to him yet.
No, true. Every time we, you know, he comes past, we shout at him, and he runs away.
I could hook him with one of these.
Yeah.
We could floor him, and then we could have him lie next to Jarvis for a little selfie.
Exactly.
That would be great. Thank you for listening.